Okay, so today we are doing multiplying rational numbers. So on 1.6 we did multiplying integers, which are whole numbers. Now we're doing multiplying rational numbers. So again, let's review our rules. So a positive and a times a positive make a positive, right? I love to love, so I get love. A positive times a negative gives us negative, okay? I love to hate gives us a negative. Same thing, negative times a positive gives us also a negative because I hate to love, so I get a negative. And then finally, I have I hate to hate, which is love, okay? Negative and negative gives us a positive. So now that we reviewed our rules, hopefully you already have these written in your notebook. These are super important for the lesson. And now the only thing you need to know now is how to multiply fractions and decimals. So I want you guys to start on A because you learned how to multiply decimals in 5th grade. So I want you guys to do A on your Edpuzzle and then I will go over it while I erase this stuff. Okay, so hopefully you got an answer. First, the most important part, let's determine. Am I going to be positive or negative? I know I'm going to be positive because I hate to hate. So I know my answer is going to be positive. But now we just multiply our decimals. So when we multiply decimals, we kick out the decimal, pretend it's not there anymore. And now I get 53 times 26. And I'm a standard algorithm person. I will do the next one, maybe for area model. If you're an area model person, that's fine. I don't care what you do as long as you multiply it correctly. So I do 6 times 3 gives me 18, carry my 1. 6 times 5 gives me 30 plus 1, I get 31. Now I start my second row. Now my 2 goes to visit every number, but this isn't just a 2, it's actually a 20. So I'm going to count for the 20 by putting a 0 there. And now I multiply like regular again. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 5 is 10. Add them up. So I get 13 and 78 hundredths. And because, so I know that there's 1, 2 numbers behind the decimal in my problem. So I know there needs to be 1, 2 numbers behind the decimal in my answer. So I'm going to put my decimal right between the 13 and the 78 hundredths. All right, next answer B in your Edpuzzle. Okay, so let me erase all this craziness, enough to me to work out the next problem. All right, now I'll use the area model for B because that we can't multiply. Now, normally we multiply fractions, we just multiply straight across. This isn't a normal fraction though, we have a mixed number. So we need to make sure that the mixed number gets distributed to both, or the 3/5 gets distributed both to the 4 and the 1/6. So I'm going to use an area model here. But again, first, let's determine is going to be positive or negative. Negative times a positive. I hate to love, so it's hate. So I know my answer is going to be negative. I'm going to do 3/5 times 4 and 1/6. Okay, so I do 4 times 3/5 gives me 12/5. I'll simplify that later. And then 1/6 times 3/5 gives me 3/30, which again I'll simplify later. All right, so now I need to add 12/5 plus 3/30, the area of these, of my area model. Well, I know that 12/5 is actually 2, because 5 fits into 12 2 times with 2/5 left over. Plus, I'm going to divide these out or I'm sorry, simplify it. Divide both by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 30 divided by 3 is 10, so I get 1/10. Okay, we know we can't add fractions unless they have common denominators, so I'm going to make this. My pen's not working. Oh, there we go. I'm going to make it 4/10 because I multiply the top and the bottom by 2. So 4/10 plus 1/10, it won't work up there for some reason. I get 5/10, and then 2 plus nothing, I get 2. So I have -2 and 5/10 is my answer for that. And then again, so like the only part that's like new is our integer rules, but our multiplying is not new. All right, on this one, as promised, I'll do another area model. So again, I'm going to kick out my decimals. I'm going to pretend this is just a 2. I'm going to pretend this is just 178. So up here, I get 200, 140, and 16. And again, I add them all up. I get 256. But again, I have 1, 2, 3 numbers behind the decimal in my problem, so I need 1, 2, 3 numbers behind the decimal in my answer. So I get 0 and 256 thousandths. And actually, that's not even true, because I know I need the negative in front, because a positive times a negative gives me negative. So I get negative 0 and 256 thousandths. Now over here, this is like, well, try to answer D. Okay, so this is like comparing apples and oranges, right? We can't have a decimal and a fraction. Now, I like working with decimals way better than I like working with fractions. But it doesn't matter which one you do. I'm going to turn this into a decimal. So I have -2 and 5/10 times -7/10. 7/10. That looks awful. -7/10. I'll do 0 and 7/10. All right, and again, I'm going to multiply 25 times 7. I know that that is 175. 175. I know my answer is going to be positive because a positive times a positive a negative times a negative gives me a positive. So I get positive 175. There's 2 numbers behind the decimal in my problem. So I need 2 numbers behind the decimal in my answer. So I get 1 and 75 hundredths.